What's Unit 731? Professor Poutine here, time for Mysteries Histories. This video is in response to a question I got from a viewer asking, well, did the Japanese get punished after World War II? Once again, you aren't going to like the answer. Unit 731 was a biological weapons development and testing facility set up by Shiro Ishii in 1936 in Manchuria with the full knowledge and cooperation of the Japanese military, government, and even the emperor himself. And from 1936 through 1945, estimated 200 to 300,000 people died at the hands of Unit 731, developing and testing biological weapons, including polio, typhus, cholera, diphtheria, plague, hemorrhagic fever. They would also take civilians, stake them out in fields tied to trees, and they would drop bombs in the middle to see what the efficacy was of bombs at various distances. They would drop plague and diseases on Chinese villages to watch what the impact was. And probably worst of all, they conducted thousands of vivisections, autopsies on living people without anesthesia to see what the progress was of disease on internal organs. Now, when the war ended, the American government sent microbiologists under General Douglas MacArthur to Japan to look into Japanese biological weapons. And with the Cold War ramping up, the Americans wanted to get their hands on the research. Now, members of Unit 731 weren't stupid. If they handed over their research, they'd have no cards to play, and they might be at risk of being put on trial. So they struck a deal. We'll hand over all of our research and help you understand it for immunity. A deal which General MacArthur and President Truman readily signed off on. So not only did members of Unit 731 not get punished, in many cases they received immunity and annual stipends from the American government so long as they continued to cooperate. Most of them lived out the rest of their natural lives in complete immunity. You ever hear of the Japanese pharmaceutical company Green Cross? Started by members of Unit 731. Want to hear something that's really going to boil your buttons? In the Korean War in 1951, there was suddenly an outbreak of hemorrhagic fever among American troops, affecting thousands of American troops. Now, hemorrhagic fever is not normal or natural to the United States, nor is it readily present in Korea. But there were members of Unit 731 working with the American military at that time. And some historians believe that that outbreak of hemorrhagic fever was actually a failed attempt by the American government to use a biological weapon on the North Koreans and the Chinese, but when the wind shifted, it blew back and affected American soldiers instead of the North Koreans. I guess it is true what they say. It's only a war crime when the other side does it. Consider yourself updated.